All right. Got anything else?
Yeah, you want to do one more?
Yeah, sure.
Where'd that story go? How about this one? Here we go. Some days Annie is a girl. Some days Annie is a boy.
Right.
And some days she's both. The 12-year-old,
Yeah, 12.
whose gender changes on a daily basis depending on how they feel.
Right. See, if you were any kind of a responsible parent,
Yeah.
that you wouldn't allow that.
You would say, is there a cock here? Okay, we're burning the dresses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're not doing this.
This is, of course, was submitted by Tony.
Oh, Tony.
From Turkey.
Yeah, Tony from Turkey.
Yes,
All
submitted
right.
this story.
So a 12-year-old boy,
Maybe.
mm-hmm. I feel a little femme today.
Yeah.
I'm a girl today.
Mm-hmm.
By noon, I might be back to being a boy again.
Yeah.
So whatever I feel at that moment.
That's right.
Yeah.
A gender fluid child
Fluid.
who at 10 years old decided they did not identify as a girl or a boy says their identity can change throughout the day, causing a lot of doubt in their mind.
Right, of course. I'm a guy now. Oh, I'm a girl now. I'm back to being a boy.
Right. Annie, now 12, was browsing the internet after growing up as a girl, feeling something was amiss, and came across a website on non-binary children.
That's non-binary.
The Australian school student instantly realized they were gender fluid, but often questions the choice after waking up some mornings feeling more masculine or more feminine.
Okay.
If you constantly say you're a girl and you put me into that box, I will feel very, very hurt because I do identify as gender fluid, meaning some days I do feel very, very masculine. I feel like a boy. There is nothing you can do about it, Annie told ABC's Late Line on Wednesday night.
Jeez.
There was some point where I was almost months at a time feminine or masculine, very specifically. And that's where it gets confusing because you start doubting yourself a lot, whether you actually are gender fluid.
This all coming from a 12-year-old?
12-year-old.
Okay.
Just making sure you're following along.
Right.
Annie's mother, Marita, told the program, clothes shopping can often be a struggle as it is dependent on how the child feels each day.
Oh, boy.
So how about you just parent the kid, Mom, and say, this is how it is.
Yeah.
I'm willing to buy boys' clothes, or I'm willing to buy girls' clothes.
Right.
That's it. Still, or she's still just Annie. It just means that some days Annie is a girl, some days Annie is a boy, and some days she's both, Marita said.
Okay.
That's from the mom.
Yeah. Well, see that's when a parent encourages that behavior.
Yeah. Terrible. When the pair went shopping for Annie's graduation outfit, they purchased both a dress and a suit as they were unsure which gender the child would align with for the evening.
Align with.
Shopping with teenagers is hard anyway. Shopping with a child that might be a boy, might be a girl, and might be a girl, shopping can be confronting, Marita said.
This, again, this is all on the parent.
It's all the parents' fault. I'm with you.
Because you allow that shit to happen.
Exactly. Annie believes gender is more of a mental trait than physical.
Yeah, of course.
Of course you do. Because that's the only argument that stands up.
Yeah.
In 500 years, when you're dead and they dig up your bones, are they going to say, oh, I wonder what this one identified as?
No.
They're going to say, that was a boy or that was a girl, and that's it.
That skeletal structure says that was a male.
Yeah, and that's it. According to Late Line, a third of children who identify as non-binary find gender-specific school uniforms inappropriate, and 55% are not comfortable with the toilet facilities.
It's ridiculous.
That's it. That's the end of the story.
Wow.
So that's a happy little story, huh?
What the hell is going on there?
The worst part is it's not the kids' fault. Kids are stupid. Let's just be honest. Kids are stupid.
Well, it's not
It's
that
the
they're
parents.
It's not that the kids are stupid. It's the parents who are allowing the kids to call the shots
because they're not guiding them. They're not teaching them any better.
I agree.
That's what I mean. The kids are literally a ball of fucking silly putty.
Yeah.
And you can shape it and you can design it to be anything you really want it to be.
Sure.
And they're just like, okay, now we're going to let our kids make their own decisions. You know, we're not going to step in as parents.
No, and
say no.
You don't draw the line in the sand. Well, you can do whatever you want, little Timmy.
If that's what makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Sometimes life isn't comfortable. Sometimes it wasn't comfortable, little things, getting picked on in school. Did you ever get picked on in school?
Sure. I think most everybody has.
Was that comfortable?
No, of
but
course
you fucking learned to tough it out.
You just deal with it.
Yeah. This whole nonsense of, well, sometimes I feel like, shut up. God.
Sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah. This one always does.
Right.
On either decision this one makes during the day. You're fucking loony.
Exactly.
You've been taught that you're not accepting of your own self.
Sure.
And that's why you're never going to be successful. You're never going to succeed in life. This is a fucking turd that is going to work at best. Assistant manager at a local department store.
Yeah, or if he doesn't commit suicide somewhere.
Yeah, probably commit suicide because not enough people will accept his gender changing from minute to minute.
Yeah, I agree.
You're probably right. Probably dead by 20.
Sure.